Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. It is Wednesday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme and your support Monday to Friday for our show on YouTube. Roughie is back with us in the studio alongside Tam McManus and Barry Ferguson. And with the Scottish Cup fourth round looming ever closer, this is what we'll be discussing. Great to have Roughie back with us. Of course, yesterday was an emotional day for every Jags fan. You were there at Colin Weir's funeral. I think his legacy, the enormity of it, will become apparent, Roughie, over the next few years.
Yeah, it was very apparent. The fans turned out yesterday to cheerio to him. It is a big thing for the club. It doesn't matter what football club you're at, to be debt-free, and if somebody like that put financial stuff in place, the fans really appreciate it. The only unfortunate thing is he's not going to be there to see it through in March when everything will conclude.
Yep, okay. And as ever, our condolences to all Colin's family and friends. So Roughie's back with us, Tam McManus and Barry Ferguson. Lots to look forward to, of course. We deal with the main headlines of the day. If it's dominated by Celtic or Rangers, then we move to that. If it's dominated by Hearts, Hibs, whatever, that's what we deal with on a daily basis. So if there's any point you'd like to make, don't forget, right across our social media, we'll deal with as many as possible. So with that in mind, Tam McManus, I'm sure you know Leigh Griffiths, and you've come across him from time to time. He's been a red hot topic this week. He's shut down his Twitter account, so the alarm bells must be ringing for him. Everybody's writing him off, days numbered at Celtic.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I think some of the abuse he's got from Celtic supporters has been poor. I don't think there was a lot in the tweet, to be honest. He's liked a tweet saying that his days are numbered. I think probably his days are numbered at Celtic. And he put another one up, I think, a silence kind of a thing on Instagram and Twitter as well. I don't think there's a lot in it. I think Celtic fans need to remember that Leigh Griffiths is a top player, and he's been a great servant for Celtic. I think they signed him for £1 million. He scored over 100 goals in an elite category of Celtic strikers. And he's a treble winner. And I think he scored 40 goals one season as well for Celtic. So I think he deserves more respect from some of the Celtic supporters, especially on social media. If his time's up at Celtic, I'm sure he'll leave as a Celtic great. I think he's been a great player for Celtic, and maybe just now it's time for him to move on.
Playing football is the key to it all here. Tam has mentioned on numerous occasions he's one of those players that needs to be loved.
Yep, and he needs to play, Peter. He's obviously he's had a lot of off-field problems. They seem to be sorted now. Now it's about the boy getting game time. And I think he's going to struggle with that at Celtic. I've seen him come on a couple of times just before the winter break, and he didn't look the normal Leigh Griffiths, the sharp Leigh Griffiths, the penalty box poacher. So look, I think the best thing for Leigh is to go and get some game time, because you want to see good players get back to their best, and hopefully he can do that. And also with the Scotland games coming up, he for me is the best striker that Scotland's got available when he's fit. So for me, I hope he goes out and gets game time, and then he gets that minutes under his belt, gets a few goals, and great for Scotland as well.
Yeah, the joys of social media are such, Roughie, that everybody's got every loan deal, sale that you could possibly think of. The permutations are endless. Going to Motherwell on loan, well, that facilitates the possible move of David Turnbull to Celtic. Griffiths going to Dundee United, which facilitates the move of Lawrence Shankland to Celtic. Everybody's got all sorts of different suggestions on this one. The one most important factor is here, if he's going to someone in Scotland, Celtic are going to have to pick up a portion of the wages.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem, and it's a problem for the teams who will want him if Celtic do indicate they're going to let him go. But I can see why Neil Lennon doesn't want him to let him go. I think every top team needs at least 2 or 3 strikers. There's no guarantee this new signing is going to hit the ground running, you know. So I think Neil will keep him and hope that if he's needed, he can get back to the form that we all know, as Tam was saying, that he can play in, and that might be the incentive for him once he's given the chance.
Yeah, it'd just be like Patrick Klimala to hit the ground running with a hat-trick against Thistle on Sunday.
Yeah, is he playing? Is he getting him a game?
Oh, absolutely. We'll wait to see if indeed he can hit the ground running. I say Sunday, Saturday, Roughie, because a late one as well, because don't forget, Roughie,
5:30.
it's 5:30, and of course you're going to a party afterwards, so you're going to have to be in tip-top form.
Yeah, it'll be a long day, but I'm sure I'll be able to adapt to the situation.
Yep,
Come
absolutely.
in with a smile on my face.
yeah.
It's only 4 or 5.
Exactly. Anyway, we're talking about Leigh Griffiths. Of course, some of the headlines in the back pages today, Barry, we're talking about Borna Barisic, not for sale at any price. Of course, it might not be for sale at any price in this window. It'll be for sale at any price maybe in the summer.
Yeah, but I don't think Rangers will accept anything in January, as you just said. I think if there is a lot of interest, which I think there will be, because he's shown real good form. He's shown the form why Steven Gerrard went and paid £2 million for him. So I don't think anything will happen in January, but if the suitors are still about after him, I think Rangers will obviously look at it if it's big money. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Yeah. Do you think Rangers have got the ability and should try and push the boat out for one more signing?
Yeah, I think it's always the best time when you're in good form, you're challenging at the top, is to strengthen. And I'm sure the manager will be looking to do that. I know he's desperate to get a few other players off the wage bill, and I think once that happens, it will free up a bit of money that he'll go out and try and get somebody.
Yeah. I noticed that Mark Walters was mentioning the fact that if Rangers could win the league this season, that would far outweigh anything that Graham Souness ever managed to do in the Revolution, in the mid-80s. I mean, this would be off the scale if Steven Gerrard can do that. I think he would just set himself into folklore.
Yep.
It's still, for me, down to has to win something. There's a strange situation where, sometimes when I work down south and listen to the pundits down there, they have Gerrard as the icon, the legend, But up here, I still think he has to win something to build that and continue to build his stature as a manager.
Yeah, but I think he knows that himself. He's come up here and he knows how big a club Rangers are. He knows the demands now that are set up here. He knows the pressure he's put under. And listen, if he brings a trophy back, certainly if it's the league, I know they've got 2, they've got the Scottish Cup as well. If he brings something like that back, he'll go down a hero up here. But he knows, listen, there's still a long way to go, a lot of games to play, but listen, they're in a good position. It's just about getting back to that form that they finished before the winter break.
Yeah, I'd love to actually, Roughie, just play an extract from Barry in January of last year. Honestly, you could transport that line and that sentence that you said
but
then
I'm trying to
here.
listen,
I know you're trying to keep a lid on the excitement.
But I wasn't keeping a lid on it in the 29th.
No, because...
The bouncy was happening.
By the way, I have to tell
the
you,
manhut.
there is no danger you would have been anywhere near his manhut or man cave because it was jumping up and down, and rightly so, because I think you deserve your moment on this.
Yeah, listen, it's been a long time. It's been a long time, so I'm a big believer in you've got to celebrate.
And did you just invite your close friends? I mean, I'm talking about the real inner sanctum. I mean,
yeah.
Roughie and I fit into what David Provan used to say, a wonderful thing to me about football. He said, remember, none of these people in football are your friends, Peter. They're only acquaintances, and I can understand where David was coming from.
Let's just say it was a certain type that was invited.
Certain type.
You weren't welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you? Exactly. There's no chance you were going anywhere, Roughie. Anyway,
none of us playing a band anyway. So
no, exactly. I can't even play the drum. Over and above that, and we'll talk about that a little later on because that got Kyle Lafferty in trouble. We're talking about contrasting fortunes, managers that are chasing the league to a manager that's trying to keep them in the league. Boy, Daniel Stendhal doesn't have his troubles to seek. He's had to come out and justify this whole Christophe Berra thing. Why? I'll never know. There's a hoo-ha about this one. This is a statement that, regarding Christophe Berra's acts. I know that some players were big players for the club with lots of experience. They love Hearts, and we look for all the right resolutions with respect. It's not easy to find the best way so that they are all happy. They are always two sides, but I can only say that we try to do the best for the club. We respect all of the players that play for Hearts, especially our skipper Christophe Berra. He gives his best for the club, not only the last 2.5 years, but also before. He is a really good player, but we talked about the situation and we tried to find a good way for him and for us, and especially for this club, and I hope we find the best way. I think that's a very conservative way that Daniel Stendhal has put this across. If he wants to put it across more passionately, by the way, we're in the mire. I've got a job to do. I've got to get Hearts out of this mess. And most of these players are responsible for Hearts being in the mess.
Peter, they're 5 points adrift at the bottom of the league. They've won 3 games at Tynecastle in a year. And Barry will tell you myself, Tynecastle is an extremely difficult place. They've always had a good home record. Very hard place to go and win. Teams are going there and battering them. He's got to do something. He's got to rip the place up and bring new players in, because if he doesn't do it, that squad will get them relegated. So he started off with the 2 big fish, I think, with Glenn Whelan and Berra. He's talking about treating them the way he's putting them in the reserves. I've had that myself. I had that at Dundee with Alec Ray. Alec Ray came in. Myself and Leigh were the 2 biggest earners. We were sent to the reserves to go and train with them until we left the club. That's what happens at football clubs. That's what happens. Christophe Berra, does he deserve respect? Yeah, he does. But he's been a skipper there for over a couple of years, and he's overseen them at the bottom of the league. So he's failed as a player. So I think he's done the right thing. I think he's got to clear it out and bring his own people in to give them a chance of staying up.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue with that, Roughie. I could rhyme. I have to say, of all the players, I could rhyme off maybe 7 or 8 before Glenn Whelan. I think Glenn Whelan obviously Berra's the captain, that's fine, but I feel a wee bit of sympathy for Glenn Whelan on the basis, Roughie. I know Daniel Stendhal wants to play a high press game, and that might not be what Glenn Whelan's all about, but Glenn Whelan was practically the only player on that side that I looked at over a period of time who could pass the ball.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think obviously in his situation, I think he's looking to the future. I think he's wanting to give some other players a chance. I agree with Tam to a certain extent, but for me, football's all about man management. And I think Christophe Berra would tell you, for being a captain and being there so long, getting bumped into the reserves is not good man management. If they agree that he's not going to play and he's got to move on, that's fair enough.
But you're talking about it as if it's... You're talking about it as if it's something
I agree with Tam that happens.
It's been happening, as Tam says, from time immemorial.
All I'm saying is it's not good man management to respect somebody like that at the club. To do that...
What do you do with them then?
You keep him involved in the first team.
Maybe he's too big a character to have in the dressing room.
That's all about the individual, but that's all about the personal individual. I don't know him as an individual.
I think the manager's come in and made the decision. Look, Christophe, as Tam says, you've got to give him the respect because he has been a good player for Hearts. The manager's made the decision. It's part and parcel of football. A new manager comes in, he either likes you or he doesn't like you. It's happened to Tam, it's happened to me, it's happened to the vast majority of footballers.
Yeah. When did it happen to you?
Blackpool.
Yeah, okay. Right at the tail end, you were 37.
I know, but I get shit. I had to go out and play League 2. I played a month on loan at Fleetwood. Was I happy? No, I wasn't. But you've got to respect the manager's decision.
Yeah, who was the manager?
Holloway.
All right, okay.
Top manager as well. He knows his players.
Yeah, he knows his players. He's a shrewd cookie. He knew what he was doing there. He could spot a player out legs.
Listen, it's disappointing when you're on 30 grand.
Brilliant, Roughie. By the way, forget about ability. Roughie always thinks cash. Brilliant. And I know you're not contesting it.
Do you know what? Tam, I get sent and trained with the youth team. And it wasn't nice for 10 days training on a 5-a-side pitch, training in public parts. But listen, the manager makes a decision. You've got to go and do it. You've got to bite the bullet. And then I had to make a decision, did I want to go and play or did I want to go and stay with the under-18s? No, I wanted to go and play and I went Fleetwood for a month's loan.
Yeah. Listen, it's a difficult one because suddenly Craig Halkett's picked up an injury. Could be a doubt for the Airdrie game. Suter's on the way back, but he better get players in quickly, Roughie.
Yeah, and I think he'll know what he's got to do. As the guys have said, he saw them training for about a month now, so he'll identify the ones he wants to keep and the ones he wants to move on. But as the guys tell you, somebody's on reasonable wages. It's not easy just getting them out the door. That's when you put them in the reserves, if they're not, if they're trying to refuse them. But I think Chris is a different scenario.
18 months left in his deal.
Yeah.
And he'll be on. Christoph will probably be one of the highest earners. So they've got a decision to make, Hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We'll talk about Hibs. We're also going to talk about Aberdeen. Look as if they've managed to win the race to get Matty Kennedy. We'll talk about that as well as the Scottish Cup fixtures over the weekend. But as ever, Monday to Friday, we always like to offer you the chance to win yourself a prize. One of our T-shirts from the PLZ Soccer shop could be on its way to you. Good luck with the competition. Listen, Roughie, Hibs picked up an injury. Stevie Mallon, knee injury, out for 2 months. Again, you're thinking to yourself, Jack Ross will obviously have a list of players that he wants to bring in as he starts to continue this change in the Hibs side to make it his own team.
Yeah, I think if he could get in maybe a couple before the window, he'd be happy with that. Mallon will be a miss. I know a lot of Hibs supporters don't think he's consistent enough, but he scores some fantastic goals, free kicks, he's always dangerous. So no, I think they will bring somebody in to try and void that.
Yeah, fill that void. I'll help you out, Roughie. The other thing I was going to say to you was, and this goes nicely. Don't worry. We've been together, honestly, 7 years.
The void, you don't have to fill it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the other thing I was going to say to you, Tam, is, he did say inconsistency. I'm not sure it's inconsistency with Stevie Mallon. I think the problem, as Jack Ross has mentioned in post-match press conferences that I've been to, he's looking for a holding midfielder, a safety, because he can't have Scott Allen and Stevie Mallon in the side unless he's got a safety. Bartley's gone. He needs to find somebody like that.
Yeah, I was surprised that Heckingbottom let Marvin Bartley go, and Mark Milligan as well, went down south. I think both of them would have still done a job for Hibs. They're severely lacking a holding midfield player, somebody that can sit in front of the back two and break things up and put their foot in. I think they've got good players ahead of them, as you said, Mallon and Scott Allen, but they're desperately needing that. And I think it showed against Rangers. When Rangers went there and battered them just before Christmas, they need a bit of dig in the middle of the park, and I think that's what Hibs fans are crying out for, and Jack Ross needs to go and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Gareth McCauley didn't hold back. He absolutely lacerated Kyle Lafferty. He signed for Sunderland. I mean, there was a suggestion he was going to go back to Hearts. I'm not a big fan, to be perfectly honest with you, on Kyle Lafferty, but Gareth McCauley, I don't think will be going to any Christmas parties or a Sunderland party with Kyle Lafferty. This is what he had to say about it. I fear Kyle Lafferty's move to Sunderland will be a car crash. Okay, don't hold back. A disaster waiting to happen. I want to see Kyle playing regularly, and if Phil Parkinson wasn't the Sunderland manager, then the Black Cats would tick all the boxes for him. But I struggle to see how old school Phil will tolerate Kyle's behaviour. Kyle has never been the best trainer. He likes practical jokes, sometimes goes quiet in games, doesn't always stick to the schedule, and discipline is an issue. What Kyle needs is a manager who will accept and indulge his moments of madness, who'll put an arm around him, fill him full of confidence, and give him the benefit of the doubt when Kyle fails to deliver in games. Oh, that's as scathing as it gets.
I'll disagree. When Kyle came up to Rangers for Burnley, Rangers, I think it was £3 million. He trained really well, but he was young back then. He liked a joke. I don't mind that in the dressing room, but I see where McCauley's coming from. Phil Parkinson's got one of the names that he is really old school. Will he accept Kyle Lafferty being one of the practical jokers? I don't know, because I don't know Phil Parkinson, but for me, Kyle, he's at a stage in his career, he needs to settle down. He's moving all over the place. To be honest, I do think there's something in there, but he's 32 now, he's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
There is a good player in there. but he's just not been consistent enough for me.
32 is not necessarily the scrap heap if you're Rory McAllister, Roughie.
No.
He's managed to get himself a whopper of a deal up at Cove Rangers. 2.5, 3.5 years.
Yeah, well,
3.5 years for a 32-year-old. That's good going.
Yeah, well, everybody couldn't believe why he never went to a bigger club. Obviously, everybody kept saying, oh, he's doing a good job. He mixes the two together. But I think Cove will be paying him quite handsomely with the job that he's got. So I think everybody needs a change at some time. He's been at Peterhead for a long, long time, and I think he'll be a success with them.
Yeah, OK, last point then, guys. Where's the Scottish Cup shock coming this weekend? I know Dundee United Hibs, for me, looks as if it could be tie of the weekend. Where's the shock coming?
I think the game you mentioned, I think Dundee United will beat Hibs.
Tam?
I think maybe Airdrie away to Hearts.
Yeah?
I think that Hearts are under serious pressure. Airdrie are flying. Ian Murray's got them going well. Big Hibs man. He would relish come back to Tynecastle, so maybe Airdrie at Tynecastle.
Firhill for me.
Firhill, big shock.
Yeah.
OK.
It would be.
Yeah. Shocked.
Sure, how many
By the way,
Celtic
if that happens, Roughie, Barry will be phoning all the inner sanctum of his mates again to go back.
Another bouncy.
Yeah, another bouncy.
You'll be invited to the party on Saturday.
Absolutely. Over and above that, great to have Roughie back with us, and of course Barry, and of course good to have Tam McManus back with us every week when we get to know Tam that little bit better. We're starting to see maybe the shine has taken off him now. Man marked out of our Christmas party. It was a shambles. Embarrassment. We'll tell you more about that someday before we get to the end of the season. Anyway, on that note, thanks to Roughie, Barry and Tam. Don't forget, across all the social media, you can give us your thoughts on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Share our Facebook Live where you can put your point directly to our panel. And over and above that, YouTube. If you subscribe to the channel, then you'll get all the updates as well. From Roughie, from Tam, from Barry, and from myself, Peter Marston. Thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.